Yeah, hey, welcome back. Everybody, welcome back to a little show we like to call
Roll with the Troll.
That's right, Rolling with the Troll. Now, in case you didn't see the thumbnail, this episode is going to be about Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode 3. It's our spoiler review.
Yes.
I'm pumped. Are you pumped?
I'm pumped.
This was a great episode.
Yeah.
Best one so far, right?
Yeah.
I know, like, episode 1 and 2 could only be so good because they needed to set up a lot.
Right.
So it's not, I don't think it's ever really fair to compare one episode to another. Mm-hmm. But I kind of don't care. Let's just do it.
That's better. What we do.
Yeah. You know, I feel like the first 2 episodes were so much set up.
Yeah.
That there was a lot of like quiet, it was like suspenseful, right? It was a lot of just this little trepidation of like, oh, is something going to happen? Not really. Oh, is there going to be some action? No, not quite.
Yeah.
And in this episode, they kept that. They really like pulled the string for a while, you know, like the rubber band was tightening. And then all of a sudden it was like, fuck it. I'm shooting people. Everything's going down. It was just wild once we got to that point. Wasn't this cool?
Yeah, it was cool.
All right.
Yes. Yeah, this episode really kind of like took the action to another level. The first and second episode were more about learning the lay of the land, basically getting to know the characters and world building and all of that kind of stuff. And this one just really took off.
Yeah, I was wondering, you know, it was one of those situations that Obi-Wan was also in episode 2. Remember when things got intense, when he knew what Jango Fett was up to? Remember that? And Jango Fett knew that Obi-Wan knew, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was one of those deals where both guys are like, just kind of playing it cool. Oh, no, I come here all the time. Oh, yeah, no, Dionysus, sure, no big deal. And they're looking at each other like, right. And meanwhile, both of them are like just ready to just pull their gun and get into some action.
Which they did.
And then Jango Fett tried to leave, and then all that shit went down. So this was very similar because it was so like, the stormtroopers were pretty fucking sure that this was a Jedi or something, right? They could sense something was wrong. Which is funny. Stormtroopers don't really sense anything usually, but they knew something was going on here. And even when Leia and Obi-Wan got on that cruiser thing, whatever it was,
the transport.
Yeah, right off the bat, I like how Frick creeped out Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan felt like we can't trust him, and Leia just so head up her ass. She's a kid.
Thanks, Frick.
Yeah, she's like, let's fucking do this. Woo! Just party, bitches. Like young Leia is a lot more trusting. She just wants to get it on, right? She just wants to get it over with.
She was sick of walking.
Yeah. She just wants to do it. So she gets on there, and Obi-Wan knows better, and he's just thinking, man, what has my life come to? I was this thriving Jedi. I was king of the galaxy. Now look, now I'm hiding out from the bad guys. Like this is fucking terrible. He reminded me of me at the beginning of the lockdowns. When like you weren't supposed to be out and I was out. Yeah. And then if you were at a grocery store, you had to have like 8 masks on, and I never did that. And like I felt like, oh my God, a minute ago I was like a normal guy. Now I've got fucking creeps everywhere. I'm ready to strike out. You know what I mean? It was like a very creepy situation that you had all this evil around you.
Yeah. Yeah, you hated that whole era.
I did.
It was time.
It was insanity. It was so creepy. I mean, 1 minute you're at the grocery store and everything's fine. A minute later, people are like screaming at you to do something dumb. It wasn't for me at all. It was crazy. So I felt like Obi-Wan here was in a similar situation where he's like, all right, this is going to get ugly any second. Of course, he had a little girl to take care of. Yeah. And I like their bond too. Their bond was improving a lot in this episode, right?
Yeah, they had some sweet moments in this one. So this one was all about he was really getting into the meat of getting Leia back to her family in this episode. Things really like went to a whole new level. I mean, we met Frick, we met Tala, Ned. Ned, was that the loader's name? Ned. So you got new characters, but it felt like everything's building.
I don't think any IP should ever name a guy Ned and expect us to take him seriously. Remember when Karate Kid 4 had Ned? Yes. And I just kept thinking to myself, he's the big bag. He's like a muscular, badass karate guy, and we're calling him Ned.
Yeah.
No disrespect to guys named Ned, but that's just not, you don't sound cool to name Ned.
So the tension on that cruiser when Obi-Wan and Leia are on that transport that Frick is driving, and then they pick up stormtroopers, and oh my gosh, you could cut the tension with a knife.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. That stormtrooper never showed his bus pass. And I kept thinking, you need to pay your way or show the bus pass. And he never showed it to Frick. And I'm like, Frick is going to lose his frickin' mind is what's going to happen.
Yes, Frick is very dedicated to rules. He's like worse than I am.
Yeah, that's true. He's like, I like when Frick gave that little blip about, good thing for the Empire. Yeah. It's nice to have a little order around here. And I'm like, you're a fucking
order.
Pussy.
They're murdering people.
Well, that's how it goes. I mean, this is what's going on right now in our culture.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's like, it's unbelievable what half the country wants to do that's so fucking stupid, right? It's no different from Frick. Like, we need to have order. We need more rules. We can't just live our own free lives. And here's Obi-Wan like, oh boy, I better just keep it down. I better just keep it down. I don't want to start beheading people with my lightsaber. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I kept thinking about how in episode 4, or not of the show, in A New Hope, episode 4.
Yes.
All right. How Obi-Wan talks about how a blaster is clumsy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, the lightsaber is like golf. It's very precise. And these fucking blasters, that's what he said. And he's like, these blasters are just this imprecise, shooting shit all over the place, causing hell, setting everything on fire. But then in this episode, he sure was glad to have that blaster, wasn't he?
It came in handy.
And he had incredible precision with it, didn't he?
He sure did.
I love, once it finally came to, once those stormtroopers figured it all out, and they didn't really figure it out, right? It was that Frick told them what was going on. Once it all came to a halt, to like just a screaming halt, the whole lie, finally Obi-Wan's just like, fuck it. He blows up that right when he shot the droid in the eye.
Yeah, the seeker droid.
Yeah, once he did that and it was all just out in the open now, I'm like, here we go. The action was great. Mm-hmm. And what was interesting? They never resorted to old school Star Wars kind of action where it's fun and exciting, like and there's like quippy jokes like, all right, kid, don't get cocky. We're going to do that. They didn't do anything like that at all. When the action started, the drama stayed. They didn't,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, that's a good
Never
point.
cut loose from the drama and just had fun with this action at all. It was very intense. And then there was that really great scene after Obi-Wan started kicking their ass. They got the upper hand on him. This is right like a split second before we met Tala.
Yeah.
He actually gave up. Remember that? For a second, Obi-Wan gave up.
Yeah.
And I think he grabbed Leia or something. They were both on the ground, and it was like, okay, we're done. And that's when we meet our good friend Tala.
Yeah.
What a badass.
Yeah.
Comes out of nowhere. Don't you think it's kind of bullshit, though, how it's always like this razor thin of a... Like, if she showed up like a half second later, she'd have nobody to save.
Yeah.
Like, in real life, what is ever cut that close?
Sometimes things are.
I've never... Star Wars and Mission Impossible seem to act like everything comes down to just razor thin margins. Anyway, so that was really great. I loved her suddenly showing up. You could trust her right away. The whole thing was just great. I mean, Obi-Wan, too, watching him navigate this whole thing, like watching him go through all this. One second, he's still trying to keep up the lie. He's calling her Luma. Right?
Yep.
And then a second later realizes, cat's out of the bag, fuck it, use your blaster. Second later, okay, we lost, that's it, we're gonna die. Second later, hey, this girl's here, she's saving our ass, she's dressed up like Empire, but who knows? It was wild that he's going through all these different stages in this episode. It was just a fucking wicked cool episode.
Yeah, it was.
I gotta say, this is the best thing Disney has done, right? Because we like Rogue One a lot, good movie.
Yeah.
And Solo's all right. You know?
Yep.
Solo's not that bad. It's good. It's got some great moments. This is the best thing they've done.
I'm really loving it.
Yeah, I'm really now finally, Disney's had the property for Jesus Christ, several years now.
It's just astounding how they can get some things so wrong, and then other times they can get them so right. Like this Obi-Wan series, for me, I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's so good. I'll tell you this. When I was a kid, I loved Star Wars, but I kind of wanted a darker take on something. And I used to think all the time, anytime we'd watch A New Hope, which back then was just called Star Wars. Yeah. Anytime we'd watch that, I would think I want to see young Obi-Wan stuff. I want to see a young version of him doing all this stuff. If you had given me this show back then, I never would have left the house. I would have just been on rewind the whole fucking day. I'm telling you, I would have been so addicted to this as a kid. I probably would have quit school. Honestly,
What?
that would have been it for school. Yeah, this show would have ruined my life. I would have had a lot of fun watching the show.
Yeah.
But I never would have become anything.
You wouldn't be the amazingly successful troll that you are now.
No. We would have no subscribers still. I'd still be fucking around. Anyway, want to talk about the ending of this episode?
Yeah.
Because that is incredible.
It was.
Go for it.
Okay, so someone maybe can help me out with this too, because I have now watched episode 3 twice because I'm trying to piece something together at the end and it's not coming together. And this is just probably one of those things where you have to just suspend your disbelief. But I was so confused about the whole tunnel, the path at the end where Obi-Wan has left Tala and Leia to go back and face Darth Vader and ask Tala to get Leia to the end of the path so that she can escape. And then Tala ends up going back after Obi-Wan, and Leia continues through the tunnel on her own. And Reva has since found the tunnel and started making her way through the tunnel, but then does not pass Tala. Like, are there like multiple tunnels down there? And I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know how Tala and Reva didn't run into each other, and how Reva got ahead of Leia to kind of ambush her at the end. But at any rate, aside from that, I love this whole episode. I think it's amazing. I'm really enjoying the entire series.
The fact that Vader fought Obi-Wan, and that now, because of all the time that's passed, that Obi-Wan was really scared of him. That was wicked to me.
Yeah.
And he played it so well.
It was perfect.
The cinematography is phenomenal on this show. They really know how to capture action, and they know how to... Because they did something particularly well. They showed Vader from like Obi-Wan is on the ground, and Vader was like this big, tall, menacing kind of thing from the ground, right? Mm-hmm. And so they did like an upshot, and it really looked incredible, and it really showed Vader as being as menacing as he was at that ending of Rogue One. Remember that?
Yep.
Or when we first met him at the beginning of A New Hope, when you look at Vader and he's larger than life. Yeah. They really captured that well. Yeah. And God, he is such a good actor, man. This Ewan McGregor, he was like just hyperventilating, wasn't he? Yeah. He was so terrified that he had to face Vader again after all this. When he was so weak and Vader was now so strong, it was just great. And Vader, when he throws, with the Force, when he puts Obi-Wan up in the air and then slams him down into the flames on the ground. Yes. Jesus Christ. The only thing is, if he can do that so easily, why not just do that more often? Like, why fuck with the lightsaber anymore? I mean, that's a way more powerful move. If I could just, without even touching someone, make them go up into the air and then slam them down to the ground, that'd just be my move. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't swing around a fucking light sword. I don't know. What's the point?
He doesn't want to lose his skill.
Yeah, I think it's pointless. He's got way better skills the other way. Everything's on fire. It was so wickedly cool. It really called back to their fight in episode 3. Yeah. By having the fire everywhere and everything. Oh, man. That was great.
Oh, it was good. It was and really... the entire thing, and we've said this many times as we're watching it, this is just really shot very well.
They really, the people who made this, I can't believe Kathleen Kennedy had anything to do with this project.
She couldn't have.
I know they're putting her name on it, but there is no way that her non-sensibilities could have touched this without ruining it. There's no way, because this is really well done. They thought a lot about the way to present this. You notice that whole lightsaber battle? Mm-hmm. They didn't waste time in the way that they normally do with lightsaber battles, where it's just a lot of like crossing swords over and over again and blocks and little fancy moves. They didn't.
Oh yeah, they got right into it.
Yeah, they didn't really waste a move. It was done right, and every little thing was dramatic. I never felt like we were like just filling time with laser shit for no reason. You know? Yeah. Very, very, very good. I really enjoyed that whole thing. The ending was so dark, and hey, how about Tala? Twice in one episode saves Obi-Wan's ass.
Oh, yeah.
What a badass she is. Yeah, she's very, very well done.
Yeah, she
great
totally
actress.
Saved his...
Yeah, I believed it. Because he couldn't have beaten Vader here, right? We're supposed to get the impression he couldn't have beaten him. Yeah. But with a little help from your friends, you can get away. Yeah. Yeah, I avoid Vader.
He gets by.
Yeah, he does. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. We've got plenty more stuff coming up about Star Wars, some good, some bad. tons of Cobra Kai, Halloween Ends, all kinds of bullshit. So yeah, like and subscribe, be part of the channel. Voice of Reason, any final thoughts?
Drop a comment.
Please do. We'd love to see you in the comments, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.